If you were here with us last night, thank you. But you would also know that my friend and TMZ founder Harvey Levin has an awesome new summer series called Strange and Suspicious. It premiered this week on Fox. And the title kind of says it all. And episode 1 looks at a case that everybody watching this show right now knows inside and out, the Idaho student murders. I want you to check out how Harvey and his team break down the massacre room by room.
Check this out. So this is the house. The number 1 is a bedroom where he killed the first 2 people. That's on the 3rd floor. Then he goes downstairs to number 2 and kills Ethan and his girlfriend in 2. In bedroom 3 and 4 on different floors, those are 2 people that survived. There's a bedroom in 6. He doesn't know if anybody's in 6. And by the way, there's a dog in 5. A dog can bite you. A dog can take you down. So he's walking in a place with 6 bedrooms. There are 6 people in 4 different bedrooms. There's a dog. There are 3 different levels. And you walk in with a knife?
But this is also a mass murder where you have multiple people killed in one location without any cooling off period. And most mass killers, that is their first event, their first and only event. I think he was just so grandiose and narcissistic that he felt he could just pull it off.
One of the still unsolved mysteries of this crime is who the target was. Was it 1 person marked for death and 3 ended up being what they call collateral damage? And if so, who was marked? Or if the killer targeted the residents of that house in general, then why were 2 of the roommates spared?
When he was arrested, he requested a vegan diet, and both of those girls worked at a restaurant, like the number 1 vegan restaurant in the area. So it's very likely that he crossed paths with them. He maybe made an advance at them, or he crossed paths with them and said, oh, they're close. I like them both. Now I have a target.
If you're going to commit a heinous act like that, wait till she walks out of the house and she's alone in the driveway. If he was there as many times as everybody says, you kill 1 person.
If they're awake and she sees you approaching, she's going to scream and somebody's going to hear it. But if you wait till she's asleep and you attack while she's asleep, then you don't get a big scream.
He also entered the house on the 2nd floor. He surpassed anyone on the 2nd floor, went straight up to the 3rd floor, which is where Kaylee and Maddie happened to be.
But then he had to go downstairs to kill the other 2.
The 2 girls might have been the intention, yes, but the other 2 could have been collateral.
Well, okay, but wait a minute. If the other 2 were collateral, why is it that one of the 2 survivors actually walked down in the hallway and supposedly saw this guy, the guy with bushy eyebrows, and he didn't kill her?
I think that he didn't anticipate having to kill those 2 additional folks. And once when he did that, that's why he panicked, that's why he left the sheath, and he had to boogie out of there. And so when he saw that 5th person, he was like, I gotta just get out.
Don't forget, there was a man there that night, not a roommate's boyfriend. Harvey's team also dives into the motive. Like, was this a crime of impulse, blind rage, or had the killer been stalking his victims and planning his every move?
He made a lot of mistakes, which I think that points to potentially, again, going back to the theory that he was following these 2 other girls, Kaylee and Maddie, on social media. That's who he was after. Potentially he got no love from them. He felt rejected. So maybe the reason he made so many mistakes is he went in there with like blind rage.
See, the weird thing is, if you're right about blind rage, that doesn't align with stalking. Stalking is more intentional.
It shows purposefulness, that this was targeted. There was all this confusion at first. Was this some random act? This was not some random act.
I think he's a budding serial killer. This was his first kill. He's been planning it for a long time. This is but he's a sociopath, and so I think he is a budding, had he not gotten caught, he is a budding serial killer. In addition to which, the sloppiness with the cell phone, a real pro would have left the phone at home on, which would have then shown that, yeah, I'm at home, and had driven there. This whole turning it off and on right before is so stupid. It's unbelievable.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.